Hello and welcome back to the Pit Wall Podcast. Long time no see. Today,
too long.
Yeah, it's been too long. Today we are going to be predicting and previewing the Canadian Grand Prix. It is a sprint race weekend, so you know what that means. More things to predict and get wrong. So
It's true.
we're very excited. F1 has been weird this year. It's just been like it's been going away and coming back.
Yeah, it feels very weird.
6 weeks off, and 3 weeks off, and 2 weeks. It's just like I'm ready to get into it. So I feel like this is like, all right, we're so back.
Yeah.
So Canadian Grand Prix was first held in 1961. It's been held 60 times, so this will be the 61st Canadian Grand Prix. That math doesn't exactly math, but you know, I guess there's a couple years where they didn't have it. The most wins is two different drivers, Schumacher and Hamilton, both with 7 wins, which is interesting. They both have 7 championships.
Yeah.
You know, debatable. Lewis probably should have like 11, but actually I think it's 10. I believe
Very debatable.
If anyway. So Ferrari's won this track 14 times, which you would not know based off how they currently look.
Yeah.
This is a great track. Circuit length 4.361 kilometers. It's 305 kilometer race, and it's over 70 laps. Great track. Big controversy sort of last year when Lando crashed. And this. Yeah. You know, could have cost them a championship. It didn't, which is just still weird to me. But anyway, so Max could have won by more. Anyway, this is the most watched Grand Prix, by the way. Typically, one of the most watched.
Really?
2005 was the most watched ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. So it's pretty. I mean, it's a great track. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a wall of champions for a reason. So it catches people out. There's weather involved and all that. So with all that build up, Dawson, who do you have for sprint pole position?
I have George Russell.
Yeah. You're going on the George Russell train again.
This is true.
This is the default.
Yeah.
You're gonna
pretty much.
Same for all 3 positions.
I mean, let's just give him P3 through P1, just all George Russell.
So here's the thing, though. I mean, that's a bit of a controversial take because, like, you know, technically, George Russell isn't the best Mercedes driver right now.
Currently,
Kimi has been on the
been
on the tear, but
yeah, but during qualifying, it's a little different, isn't it?
Kimi 3 poles in a row, dog.
Oh yeah.
So, but I don't think this track is going to be as good for Kimi, even though he did get his first podium here. So this is like kind of a controversial take, but I agree with you. I think George Russell is going to be on sprint pole. I think it's just going to be too quick of a weekend for Kimi. George crushes this track. He won it last year. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So, who do you have sprint winner?
I have George Russell.
There you go. All right.
The main reason is because, like you literally just said, he won this last year. I feel like this is one of his stronger tracks. So we're kind of leaning into George Russell.
I feel like this is like a European circuit. Like it has that vibe. It's like a weird, like if you took like, I don't know, Silverstone and mixed it with like Albert Park in Australia. Like I feel like that's kind of the vibe. I don't know. I don't really know where I'm getting the Silverstone from. I mean, it has a couple, like the opening couple turns is kind of Maggots and Beckett's-esque. But anyway, I also agree, sprint winner, George Russell. But it's about to get more interesting.
Okay.
It's about to get more interesting.
I mean,
maybe.
Yeah.
But, okay, it's not about to get more interesting, but after the next thing, it'll get more interesting.
Okay.
So, who do you have on pole for the main race?
I have had 2 in my head, and I've been deciding, and I guess I'm going to have to make a decision now.
That is how this works.
Yeah. It's very true, Nick. It's very true. I feel like I'm going to give it to George Russell.
Okay. All right. So who are you debating between?
Kimi Antonelli and George Russell.
So I'm also going George Russell pole position for all the same reasons, but here's where it gets more interesting. So P3. Who do you got on P3 for the podium at this race?
Max Verstappen.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because I'm holding out hope for the Red Bull train.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say why my thinking until I get through P2.
Yeah.
But I have P3 George Russell. So I think he's going to go pole to P3.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty crazy considering how Mercedes has been recently.
That's
I mean,
fine.
George Russell didn't have the greatest race last time out. Had a lot of trouble.
Yep.
I witnessed it. It was rough. So that's my thinking. Who you got on P2?
George Russell.
Oh, all right. I think I see where this is going. Well, you're about to be a very happy man because my P2 is Max Verstappen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the reason I said I was going to hold it off is because I believe it's going to rain at this race.
Yeah.
I believe there's rain in the air.
Okay.
That's also maple syrup, but that's
fair.
Canada.
This is fair.
Rain is in the air, and I think this is going to come down to wet weather drivers. And in some instances, and Red Bull is going to make a better call than Mercedes and pit Max in a better window. The end.
So, can I guess your P1?
No, you can't.
Why?
Because I have a whole explanation planned.
Oh, okay.
So tell me your P1.
My P1 is not at the top of his hat. It's it's Kimi Antonelli.
Okay. Well, when I started thinking about who I would make P1, okay, I was thinking about Charles Leclerc. And I was like, Charles Leclerc, like, he hasn't had a good race. Like, he's had good races, he's had good podiums, but he hasn't had a win in a while, right? And I was thinking about this, and then the rain's coming, and I'm like, well, and then this is Leclerc's worst track head-to-head with a teammate on qualifying. Just not a track he loves. So would he really win the Canadian Grand Prix? Like, I kind of doubt that.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about Charles Leclerc, though, and I was like, I need to look deep into the Ferrari coffers, okay?
Okay.
And I needed somebody that is a world champion.
Yep.
That, it's in the Ferrari coffers, as I mentioned. Michael Schumacher won here, all this stuff. So I had to go with that combination and somebody that always performs well at this track.
Okay.
So I'm going with Fernando.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
I'm going with Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah,
okay.
of course,
I wasn't going to until the rain was predicted. I wasn't even going to put him on the podium, but I think all of these things are going to come together. I know I predict it every week, but the thing is, like, I'm not just doing this for content.
One of these days you're going to be right.
I genuinely believe that I didn't predict, we didn't do one. I wouldn't have predicted him to be on the podium in Miami.
Yeah.
So we just didn't do an episode. Yeah. And I'm probably not going to predict him to be on the podium in Monaco next time out.
Yeah.
If it's
probably.
Yeah, okay. The schedule's so weird this year. But yeah, I think he could actually win. Yeah. If it rains, the car's already pretty good, and now this relies on Ferrari getting it right, but that's why I think Lewis will get it right, not Ferrari. Okay. Notice Leclerc is not on the podium at all, so that's my thinking. If it's a dry race, George Russell pole to win the end.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah.
And Mercedes bringing updates, but it's a sprint race weekend, so they don't have time to dial it in correctly, so they might screw up the race pace.
Yeah.
So, and also if they declare it a wet track in between the two, then who knows? Like, they could set it up totally wrong. So anyway, that's my prediction. So it's a reasonable. It's a reasonable prediction. Yeah. Also, I don't think Fernando Alonso is going to do that well. Yeah. A lot of people are like hyping him up to get like P10 this week, and that's not happening. Also, Mr. Stroll is going to have another miserable race in front of his home fans, most likely.
More than likely. I mean,
that team is so bad. I want to go on a mini rant, like very, very small rant. Aston Martin had 6 weeks or so in between the end of the last race into Miami, where that whole big gap happened.
Yeah.
Dog, they're the only team that brought no updates to the Miami GP.
Yeah.
Zero. That's insane. Now, we heard something about them sending one of the cars to Japan, to the Honda factory, blah, 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 blah. That still doesn't give it an excuse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I get that they don't want to use the money and cost cap and all that stuff, but you got to try something. Bring a new front wing to test your wind tunnel correlation, like something.
Yeah.
Like, I get designing a new front wing is not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm just saying, literally nothing at all. You're just like, we're carrying out the way it's going.
Yeah.
We're convinced the package is right. We just can't get it to work. Like, that's mind-blowing for one of the worst performances of all time. Dude, on sprint day, the Aston Martin F2 driver out-qualified Aston Martin. He was the fastest Aston Martin of that day.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not really an Aston Martin. It's just liveried like an F2 spec race. I know that. I'm just saying. Like, that's crazy work.
Yeah.
So, Aston Martin, like, I don't know how this alarms aren't going off, like more is happening. So anyway, that's my vibe. Any other crazy predictions? Where's Lance Stroll finish this weekend, or does he?
That's a good way to throw that in there. If he doesn't crash or DNF, I'd give him like 16.
Yeah.
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 I think he could pull out a strong P16.
Yeah.
What about you?
DNF.
DNF, yeah.
Yeah. One drop of rain and that car's going in the wall.
What about Alonso?
Alonso?
Do you think he's going to be like P13, P14?
No.
Lower?
Whatever the last place finisher is.
Okay.
And I think they'll also screw up the strategy. So he might be running better, but then screw up the strategy.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. All right. Well, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, peace.
Peace.